Hey, good morning everyone. So it's currently, what is the date? It's the 21st. A lot has happened since that first day of med school. A lot. I've been incredibly busy, like ridiculously busy. The first week was kind of like a welcome you in, like slowly make you feel like you're a med student doing med stuff, but not really. And second week it was just like boom. In with the slightly harder stuff, we started doing a lot more biochemistry. I personally find quite hard. I'm not really a chemistry person, I'm more of a biology person. So for me, this was super hard. More importantly, I'm sure by now you can tell that this is a bit of a different background. I have decided to come home. Basically on the second week of my term, I found out that my friend and her flat tested positive for coronavirus. So I then went and got tested because I'd been in contact with her, and my flatmates had also started showing symptoms, so we were all quite worried that we had it. I was fine, my flatmates were not. They had coronavirus, 2 girls, so we had to isolate in the flat for 2 weeks for them, 10 days for me, because I'd already been isolating for like a few days beforehand, because as soon as I knew there was a possibility, I just didn't leave the flat, because I think personally that's the best thing you can do, because you don't know if you're spreading it, you don't know who you're giving it to. The 2 weeks that I was in isolation, as it rounds up to about 2 weeks, give or take a few days, was horrendous. I was already spending all day in my room doing my lectures. That's the kitchen to like eat food, socialise, but I found after a while I didn't even want to do that. I just wanted to be in my room all the time, which is obviously really worrying. I just kind of decided that I would go home for a few days, go and visit my boyfriend and my dad. During the time that I was here, my boyfriend's family basically just sat me down and said, I don't think you should go back. I think you should just spend the rest of the semester here. It's a lot safer. There's a way too high risk if you're going into lockdown. But I don't know if you guys have been following the news recently, but for a while, I don't know if this is still true, but for a while Nottingham was the fastest rising rate of infection in the entire country. So it was pretty bad, and it is still pretty bad. I know so many flats that are isolating at the moment. There's probably more that are isolating than ones that aren't, which is scary. I mean, I was one of them. So I made the decision to stay here. I'm going to be staying with my boyfriend and his family, who are so kind to take me in, and I'm just going to be studying here because, as you guys are probably aware, my course is all online at the moment. There is not a single class that is in person, and I just don't see the value in being there. I think if anything it could be detrimental to my mental health, not helpful, because by being here I'm not putting my education at risk. I'm doing the opposite. I actually feel way more motivated since coming home, which is really just says a lot really. And I also get to see my family, which according to the new guidelines, if I'd have been up in Nottingham, I couldn't. So that's a really big bonus. I was at uni last year, so I know what it should be like, and it's so different to what it should be like that my brain is just really struggling. It's also hard not having lectures in person. I was in my room all the time anyway, and an isolation hit and I was in my room all the time. Going to the library and doing your it's not feasible. There are too many distractions, there's too many like things going on. You know, there could be people being loud, you can't tell them to be quiet. Yeah, it's a library, but it's a public library, like it's not there for my lecture hall. I wasn't going out, I wasn't doing things anymore, wasn't enjoying the social aspect of uni anymore because the negatives just way outweighed the positives. Sad fact of living in a pandemic, but it just wasn't the same. Engagement is kind of gone. It's a lot harder to motivate yourself, I think, especially in a teeny tiny room. The room was quite large for a dorm, but even so, it's a room by yourself. Usually raining outside because it's Nottingham. Of course it's going to be raining. So yeah, I have done a runner. So today I actually only have one class. I've got a clinical skills like webinar type thing at 1, finishes at 2, so very short. and I basically got the rest of the day off. I did have a bit of a train wreck of a lesson yesterday, or a couple of lessons, where the lecturer was just going so quickly and I just left the class feeling completely overwhelmed. And I also have my very first formative next Friday, so I'm preparing for that, which I'm not too worried about because I've obviously a lot of the stuff we're covering at the moment I also did last year, so I kind of have a bit of a leg up, but equally I'm trying not to be too arrogant about it. I don't want to be like, oh well, I knew this from last year so I'm not going to study. I'm going to get started now on one of my lectures and I will catch up with you guys in a bit. So as per usual, I've got my coffee, I've lit a candle to just set the mood a bit, and I also have started making lists recently, as the act of ticking off jobs is really motivating me at the moment. And now it's time to start the lecture catch up. So at this point I went to make some lunch, which I sadly forgot to film, so instead just enjoy this rainy plant montage that I have made. Of course I made some more coffee, and then I just spent a little bit of time relaxing before my one and only live lecture of the day on clinical skills. So I just finished my one and only lecture for the day. A really chilled out day today. Basically just went over vital signs, how to take the temperature properly, how to check pulse, and how to check respiratory rate. That was really useful. I'm probably going to be really annoying to everyone in the house now and be running around trying to practice on them, because that's pretty much the only practice I'm going to be getting for a while. Obviously placement is null at the moment, it's just not happening. That was really cool. It was interesting to learn the specific techniques that you need to use. Obviously in all of this, communication is key. I actually had a role play session last week where I had to do kind of like a GP consultation style thing, basically taking a history from a patient. It was split into 3 and I got to do the first bit, so introducing myself, gaining consent, explaining what I'm going to do, all of that good stuff. I'm feeling a bit more confident about the communication side of things. It's more just am I actually able to get a pulse? Because I think I've tried to do it before, workshops leading up to the interview for med school, and I sucked, could not do it. So hopefully I've improved, and I think I'm going to order my first stethoscope, which I'm so excited about. And then I think I'm just going to relax, because although obviously I still need to do work, it is technically basically a day off, barring my one session that I just had. So I'm now just going to finish off that lecture that I really failed to do earlier. And then I have another lecture that I was supposed to do yesterday, but also was not filmed in time for me to go over it online. So I need to do that too. I could do with a bit of a break. My brain is melting. I have learned so much about muscle and nerves this week. It's all I can think about. It's all I can talk about. I need to just not be thinking about medicine for a few hours today. To give myself a bit of a break before I got back to studying, I decided to watch some Grey's Anatomy. Very typical, I know. I also treated myself to a little vegan vanilla cupcake that I made over the weekend. Not usually a habit that I have, but it was a family member's birthday and I just thought, why not?
have finally finished my spinal cord, and that's a great start. I can't even remember what I was doing. Spinal cord reflexes. Finally finished that lecture after 2 hours that I've spent today going over that on a 30-minute recording. Just shows how long it actually takes to go over the material. Like, if I had to do the lectures in person, I think I'd be drowning by now. So in some ways, grateful for online teaching. Now, I think I'm gonna head over to the gym after some dinner, as I haven't been in a few days now, and I'm trying to go at least 3 or 4 times a week, just to get out of the house and also to stay fit and whatnot. I don't know if you can hear, but it's literally pouring outside. It's so rainy, it's a joke. Wanted to leave the rain behind in Nottingham, but clearly that's not going to happen. Yeah, we will just see where the night takes us. I've got one more lecture to do later, but I figured at this point I might start it now, but we're going to do it after the gym at this point. I did agree with myself to kind of have a more chilled day today and just re-energize, so I will catch up with you guys in a bit. I got back from the gym about half an hour ago, had some lovely chicken satay. Now I actually have a lecture that I didn't get around to yesterday about skeletal muscle, which I really want to do before tomorrow because I hate getting behind. I just feel like as soon as I start getting behind, I'm not really going to stop, so I'm going to do that and then probably just have a relaxing bath and watch some Greys, maybe read. I've got the room to myself tonight as my boyfriend is away. It'll be nice to just have some me time. I will catch up with you guys in a little bit. After I finished off with that lecture, I ran myself a bath and just relaxed in there for so long I actually forgot to film an outro, so hope everyone is doing well, staying safe, and yeah, see you guys soon.